Hey everybody, it's Lily here. How are y'all doing today? Hope everybody's doing good. Today we're going to do this really cute little owl painting. Done it a couple times. It's pretty simple. I think most people will be happy with their results. And it's really cute. It's fun. So to do this painting, we're not going to stick with the paper towels because I realized my last paper towel painting was a little bit difficult to do with paper towels. So next time we do paper towel art, we'll choose something a little simpler. But we are still going to go for cheap. So today we're going to use this brush pack, which I got from Walmart. Paid less than $5 for all 25 of these brushes. We're using 3 out of this pack for this painting today. Maybe 4. I think 3 though. Again, we're going to use our canvas panel. 6 packs less than $10 instead of the stretch canvas, which is a little bit more expensive. We're going to use our Apple Barrel craft paint again. Today's colors, we're going to use Granite Gray, Khaki, King's Gold, 2 Blue, which we used last time, so we can use that again if you bought it last time. English Ivy, English Navy, I'm sorry, it's not green, it's blue. English Navy. We're going to use some of the chocolate bar that we used last time. And then we have white and black. And those are like 50 cents a piece. So again, we're going to be doing this relatively cheaply. And you get this really cute painting. We're going to need paper towels to clean our brushes up. We're going to need a little cup with water in it, just a little plastic cup to clean the brushes. And then paper plates to put your paint on. So it's a really fun painting, and I hope you guys enjoy the class. Let's get started. Let's push some paint around and see what masterpiece we can create. Okay, to get started, we're going to use the biggest brush that's in that packet. Let's say 1-inch brush. And we're going to use our blues first. And on this one, about 3 inches here on the side, I'm going to dab the blues on. There's 2 different colors, you can blend them up. I'm going to dab some blue on there. About 3 inches or so over. While we're doing that, we could go ahead and take our brush. We're just going to kind of draw the outline of our owl, like so. Kind of like a figure 8. But to be honest, I think I'm a little high, but we'll work it out. So we'll draw our outline of our owl, and we'll go back to just adding dabs of blue. Once you've got a lot of spots on there, just going to take and pull it down. You can go back up. Just want to get this covered in a dark blue. You can have it just one shade. I kind of like having 2 different shades of blue and kind of blending them together. You can even go in and do little night sky swirls in there if you like that. Alright, we're almost done with this one. And I do feel like I've got my neck of my owl just a little high, so I'm going to come back in, go a little bit higher like that. Alright, see, pretty easy. Pretty easy. Just get your whole canvas covered. Then if you wanted to go back, do some little designs like so, you certainly can. Do whatever you think looks cute. Make it your own. You could go sideways and do some sideways swirls. Alright. So, that was pretty easy. Alright, so now we are going to dive right in there with our owl. And we are going to go to the black. Don't need a whole lot of black paint. We're going to need some for the beak, the eyes, the mask. That's what I like to call it. For this, there should be a little angled brush in there. You see how that tip has an angle on it? It's going to work best. So we're going to load that brush with black paint. Go up here to the head of our owl. Decide whatever the owl is kind of cut off, so you're going to have to kind of go from there. When you think about an owl's mask, it's almost figure 8 shaped. So if we mess up, we can always go back and fix it. So we're going to go in and draw this mask. Alright. Almost like goggles even. Goggles, swim goggles, kind of what it looks like. This is our mask for the owl. Now, the next thing we're going to need some black for is we're just going to put like a really thin line right there. And it will be covered up when we start adding. And then a really thin line right there. It just gives us, kind of spaces us out where like the wing is going to go, where the bottom of the face is going to go. Okay, so since we got our black, let's go ahead and do our eyes. And we're just going to do them all in black to start. So they're going to go about in the middle of each of these. Remember, owls have big eyes. So don't be scared to make big eyes. To me, the bigger the eyes, the cuter it turns out. If you don't get a perfect circle, it's not the end of the world. We're going to be adding feathers around those eyes anyway. Alright, go to this side. If you see that you've made one eye bigger than the other, like I just did, you can go back in or make that one bigger. It's not a problem. Alright, now you may be at this point saying, how are we going to get there from this? We just keep working at it. We'll get there. So at this point, kind of looks funny. We're going to keep going. So now, we're going to go in and do our beak. Our beak is wider at the top. And it's going to come down to a point. About, we'll say, an inch and a half long, somewhere in there. And again, if you feel like you've messed something up, we have yet to put our feathers on. The feathers are going to cover a lot. This is, we're just kind of laying down our work, the start of our work. This is what you should have at this point. It's already cute, kind of. Already looks like an owl a little bit, don't it? Okay, now's where we start to make this owl our own. We're going to start on the feathers. Now this is where we're going to use the khaki, the gray, the white, the chocolate. I even sometimes add a little bit of blue, a little black, because I mean the feathers aren't going to be all the same color. Now for this, we're going to use this brush. It's a little bit stiff. Bristles are a little bit stiff, so that could gives us a little more texture when it comes to our feathers. It's probably a 1/2 inch wide or so. You can start with any color that you want, and don't worry about going in and washing your brush off between each color that you use, because it's going to be mottled, and that's okay. I'm going to start with my chocolate brown. You don't have to get just a ton. I'm just getting it on the tip. You come in, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. And that way the feathers are layered. So I'm going to go in, put in some of this chocolate brown color. You see how I'm not doing it everywhere. It's not perfectly lining up. That's okay. I'm going to go straight into my khaki color. I'm going to go right next to that chocolate brown with some khaki. I'm holding my brush sideways too. Kind of gets us more of a feather shape. And this is what we're going to do the whole way up. We're just going to layer these feathers. And I'm going to go into my gray. You see how some of that brown is still in there with that gray. And that's okay. So it's giving us this mottled look. And that's what we're going for. Then I'm going to go into my white. Take a couple times with your white to get real white in there. And the bottom of this easel is kind of messing me up a little bit. And we just keep working our way up. Adding layer on layer of feathers. And you may say that you want your owl to be mostly white. And that's fine. You just go in, you're going to layer the feathers all the way up. See if you can see what we're doing there. And this, I did go over where I just had that wing, but that's just kind of for a guide. We're going to cover over that. And just keep working. Working it. You see how we're getting this layered look, because these wings are on top of those wings. I'm just working all the way up. And come all the way over to the side and get that blue color covered. White in there. Get a little more white. And on the side, you know, you want it to look a little bit almost like hair, but like the wings are sticking out. You don't want it to look smooth on the sides. You want to see the texture of those wings. That's where we just work it up. You decide how colorful or how white you want yours. You can even, which I've done before, like I said, go in with a little bit of this dark blue. You can add a few blue feathers in there. Just mix it up a little bit. Like so. And go back to layering that. Totally random. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's going to be totally random. Just think about feathers. There's no straight line when it comes to feathers, is there? gonna work all the way up. If you notice, I'm getting a little bit lighter as I come up. That's just how I'm doing mine. You can keep mixing that color in the whole way up. That's what you want to do. Like so. Now, since I had that line where I had the wing, I kind of got this dark brown. Use that brush that we used for the eyes. Just kind of go in and go under like so. It's going to create a shadow underneath those wings, underneath those feathers. Kind of gives us the indication of the wing there. Good. Using that same brush, I'm going to go in where the collar's at, or the neck. I'm going to go in, put quite a few of the darker brown feathers in. Just because I want to differentiate where that neck feathers, I guess it doesn't really have a neck, where the face feathers start. Alright, so does everybody see kind of where we're going, where we're looking, how we're looking at this point? You kind of see, and like I said, make it your own. You do. Then we're going to go on up to the face. We're just going to keep going, pulling those feathers down. You ever want to wash your brush off so you can get a truer white, by all means, do that. Alright, so kind of got there. Now we're going to go in and go ahead and start around the face, putting the feathers. So we're going to put that big brush back, or rinse that big brush off and go back to the brush we used for the black, that angled brush. Let's rinse it off. What we're going to do is around the nose and the mask and everything, like around the nose, your feathers are going to be smaller. They're going to be a finer feather. Just kind of pull it away like so. Get a little bit of that gray in there so you can see it a little better. And covering over that mask is fine. And even if you get some paint on the nose, that's fine, because we're covering that up. Or we can touch that up, not covering it up. Okay. So, just gonna work out a little bit right there on that nose. Like so, just work your way out. That's a smaller feather, because it would be a smaller feather on their face. Cover over that black. Just want the indication that that's where the mask is at. Alright. And we're going to keep going all the way up to the eyes. And if you ever feel like, okay, I want to go back to the bigger brush, I like the way those feathers look. Now that we've got the feathers on the face kind of done, totally do that. we'll go back to that other brush. Just wanted to get some finer feathers there on the base. Let's see what that does. Go back to the bigger brush. All the way up to the eye. Just need to keep moving. You can kind of see that outline underneath. If you see it too much, it looks kind of funny, so you might have to go over it a few times. Just kind of calm it down a little bit. That black, where we drew that mask, just as a guide. Alright, I think I'm going to go back to my little brush. I'm going to start around the top of the nose. On the top of the nose, those feathers are going to kind of go up. Kind of think about a young owl. The feathers are kind of going all over the place. And to cover the nose there is fine, because there would be feathers over the nose. And the eye, we'll have to fix that. Just laying me some ground colors in there. Got a little crazy with that one. He just has a crazy hair day. Having a bad hair day. Alright. Just keep working it. All the way to the top. Once you get out a little ways from the eyes, you can go back to that bigger brush and cover more with that bigger brush. See, we're already starting to look cuter, right? Looking more like a little cute little owl. To me, whenever we do the eyes, that's when it really starts looking cute. Alright, I'm going to go to a bigger brush so I can cover a little more ground. Need some white in the back. Just gonna flick your wrist, kind of how I would call it. Just a flick and get those feathers in. I have to raise this up for a second to get underneath here. Alright. Got our base in there. How cute. Cute, cute, cute. Alrighty. Put this thing on. See that? can go in and fiddle with it as much as you like. Adding individual feathers anywhere that you see that you want to add a little more color, a little less color, more white. I personally like to get a little bit of black, go in, make me some angry owl eyebrows. To me, that's just cute, like so. It's just black feathers, but it kind of gives them those angry brows that I think of when I think of an owl. Come in and kind of settle this up a little bit. Alright. Kind of like where mine is at this point. So I'm going to, since I have the black, I'm going to go in where I've got a lot of white on that eye and kind of touch it up a little bit. Just where it's like a lot. Like so. Because there would be feathers in this area too. So wouldn't worry about it too much. Alright. So now we are going to go into finishing the eyes up. Oh, well, let's go in and, while we got this black. Now these feathers up here on the beak, I like those. But these down here, I'm going to cover those up. Kind of get me a smooth line on that, on the beak, on the end there. Down there I got a little X, I don't like that. Let's go in with a little white. Alright. A few more white feathers right there. Just a little more color. Alright. So now using the same brush, we're going to use our King's Gold for the eyes. We may mix in a little bit of that khaki too, to make like a marbledy. We're going to go in and make the yellow eyes, and since we did that black paint first, it should be pretty dry. If by some chance your paint is still really wet, you get a blow dryer and hold it on there, because you want it to be pretty dry for this next part. So we're going to take the same brush that we did the eyes with, that black one. We're going to go into our Indian yellow. We're going to go around the outside. You want to leave some black there. You might have to do a couple of runs to really get it good and yellow. And yes, I know we're going to go right back in with black for the middle, but to me it's easier to layer it than to try to keep the paint off the middle. Alright. What I'm going to do, since we've got this shape, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to tap this yellow kind of close to the edge like that. Just tap it. I just messed up a little bit. Well, we can fix it. When we rub the brush across it, it kind of picks up a lot of the paint. So we'll just tap it. It's going to leave more paint behind. Alright, and there's a good time you can go into a little bit of that khaki. You want to add a different color. You know, eyes usually aren't just one color. Add a different color in there. A little more of that swirly look. Alright, so now probably need to get the blow dryer out and dry that before we start on our iris. That's what it's called? Iris, the pupil. That's the iris we just did. Yeah, right? Yes, I think I might be correct on that. So we're about to do the pupil. But before we do that, let's get the blow dryer. And we're going to dry this so that it's good and dry. We'll give those eyes a minute more to dry. Just want them good and dry. While we're waiting on that, we're going to do our, what you call them, sinus holes, nostrils, but you didn't know that a owl had nostrils. They do. So to do that, go into our pack of brushes there. We're going to get the finest tipped little white brush that we can get. We're going to go into our white. When you go into the white, I want you to roll your brush. What this does is it loads your brush with white paint. It also gets it to a tip. As fine a tip as we can get it to. So I have a little fine tip. I'm going to go in, a little white dot on either side of its nose. Now, again, you're going to say this is redundant because we're going to go back in with black and put black in it too. While we got that white, let's go ahead and draw an accent. Some light shining on that nose. Just a little accent. Like so. Makes a big difference once it's done. Just draw a little line. You can see that, just a little accent line right there. Now, take and rinse that off. Do the same thing in the black paint. Roll it around to get us a little fine point. And we're going to go right into the middle of those white dots. I'm going to put a black dot. What this does is it just basically highlights that hole, but the hole itself isn't white, it's black. But by doing the white first, it's going to give us the indication of the highlight around that hole. Basically, we're just going to do a smaller circle. So we've done a big black circle, and inside of that we did a yellow circle. Now we're going to go back in and do another black circle. You want to leave some of that yellow. Like so. And I didn't let my yellow dry enough, so I'm going to have to go over mine a couple times with the black. It's not hard to do. If you got out the hairdryer and use that to get this good and dry, you will not have that same problem. I was lazy. I didn't do that. So, you see how we're leaving some of that yellow. Like so. And if you kind of roll your brush, twist it, it helps to give you that round circle. Alright. And we are close to having a finished painting. You can spend more time going back in and fluffing up more feathers, giving your eye more color if you want. And I think we're close to done. So we're going to take that little thin brush that we used to draw our nostrils and to highlight our nose, and we're going to highlight our eyes. So go into that white, get a fine point again, spin that around, get a fine point. For eyes, we're going to do a line and a dot. A line and a dot. That's our reflection. You want your reflection to match up pretty good. So you might want to, it doesn't have to be perfect by any means. Line and a dot. You could go and just do like a side swoop there if you wanted. Something about the line and the dot I kind of like. So, I think we will call this one done. Again, you can come back in, add more color to your feathers if you want to not see that edge there. You just come in, add some more feathers in there, make it as fluffy as you want. I always do this. I always say I'm done, and then I go back in and decide I want to add something. But no, I think we're going to call that one. I hope y'all liked this video. Hope you learned something. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.